muted?
Sure. Okay, roll call, Deanna.
Commencing roll call now. Vice Chair Blair Whitney,
Here.
Councilmember Juan Carlos Bravo,
Here.
Councilmember Eduardo Rodriguez,
I'm here.
Councilmember Jennifer Reese, Councilmember Nickit Searcy,
Here.
Councilmember Kathleen Dolly,
Here.
Chair Buck
Here.
We do have a brief announcement. We do have an interpretation line that our Spanish interpreter will assist us with. The phone number is 1-877-568-4106, and the code to enter is 877-394-869 #. Victor, would you like to provide this instruction in Spanish, please?
Gladly. Thank you, Diana. Good evening, Chair, through the Chair and all council members. Victor Hernandez, Spanish interpreter. Buenas noches. Les queremos dejar saber a todos ustedes que esta reunión del concilio de North Fair Oaks será totalmente interpretada. Para poder acceder la traducción en español, marque al 1-877-568-4106 y después de eso ingrese lo que es el código o la clave 877-394-869 enseguida por el símbolo de número. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Back to you, Chair.
Okay, agenda item number 2, AB 361 resolution to make findings for conduct of meetings via teleconference. On September 16th, 2021, California signed AB 361, a bill that formalizes and modifies the teleconference procedures implemented by California public agencies in response to the governor's executive orders addressing Brown Act compliance during shelter-in-place periods. AB 361 allows local governments to continue to conduct virtual meetings as long as there is a gubernatorially proclaimed public emergency in combination with adopted findings. Meeting in person would present risks to health. Thus, a resolution is required to invoke provisions of AB 361, as it is found that conducting in-person meetings would present an imminent risk to the health and safety of attendees. Do we have any questions from council members on this? Is there any public comment on the side?
During this time, members of the public, if you wish to comment on agenda item number 2, AB 361, please bring a speaker slip up to the clerk or use the raise hand feature on Zoom. Victor, are there any public comments on the Spanish line?
Thanks, Diana. There's none at the moment.
Thank you, back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Deanna. And then I will entertain a motion to invoke provisions of AB 361 for this evening's meeting. Do we have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second,
What's open?
we need a roll call vote.
Commencing roll call now. Vice Chair Blair Whitney,
Aye.
Councilmember Juan Carlos Bravo,
Aye.
Councilmember Eduardo Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilmember Jennifer Reese.
Aye.
Councilmember Nickit Searcy,
Aye.
Councilmember Kathleen Dolly,
Aye.
Chair Mark Sesser,
Aye,
motion passes.
unanimously. Thank you very much, Deanna. Agenda item 3, public comment. Anyone may speak up to 2 minutes on any topic not on the agenda this evening. If you're in the room, please fill out a speaker slip. If you're online, please use the raised hand feature on Zoom. And please note that the council may not discuss or take action on any items not on this evening's agenda. Do we have any public comment this evening?
It is now time for general public comment. Members of the public may comment on any topic that is not on the agenda. For those attending the meeting on the Zoom conference, you will use the raise hand feature. When you hear your name called, we'll send a request to mute your mic, and you may begin speaking. Victor, do we have any public comment on the Spanish line?
Thanks, Diana. There's none at the moment.
Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Deanna. Agenda item number 4, North Fair Oaks Small Business Grant Program and Economic Advancement Center update. Presentation is going to be given by Peggy Jensen of the County Executive's Office. Peggy, the floor is yours.
Sure, would you like me to
Whatever you're comfortable with.
But she's pointing to the
Okay,
cameras.
there we are.
Good evening, council members. I'm pleased to be here to give you an update on our economic advancement work in North Fair Oaks. As your chair said, my name is Peggy Jensen. I'm the assistant executive. Next slide, please. So I want to talk to you this evening about two things: the grant program we've been operating in North Fair Oaks for the last few months, and then also give you an update on the Economic Advancement Center. The Board of Supervisors has approved $1.25 million in American Rescue Act funds to provide $10,000 grants to small businesses in North Fair Oaks. Our Office of Community Affairs has done a tremendous job providing door-to-door outreach, reaching out to the businesses, helping them complete their applications. And I'm pleased to report that we, to date, we have distributed over 116 grants to small businesses. Our partner, the San Mateo County Credit Union, they are doing the administration of all of our county grant programs. Many small business members went over to the credit union to pick up their checks at the desk. Just to remind you, I think we did an update before. The first round of grants were $5,000 grants, and those grants were issued to 103 businesses. Given the ongoing need, the ongoing challenges related to the pandemic, we decided to have a second round of grants. Our OCA staff reached out to all the first round recipients to make sure that they were still in business. We found that they were able to contact 97 businesses, and we in turn issued a second $5,000 check to those 97 businesses. Given the additional money that the board had provided, we also opened up this grant program, the second round, to new businesses, and have provided 19 grants of $10,000 to new businesses for the total of 116. Any questions on the grant? Okay, let's go to the next slide. So a while ago, actually, I think it was last August, we came to talk about this concept of an economic investment center, and you all heard from folks in South San Francisco who initiated the concept of having a place where job seekers could come, having a place where small business owners could come, where entrepreneurs could come to get assistance and wraparound services to ensure that people got good jobs that were well paid and would provide opportunities for advancement. And also small businesses were getting the support they needed to thrive. We are also I think it was in November, the Board of Supervisors approved $5 million in our American Rescue Plan funding and that was allocated $2.5 million for a economic advancement center in North Fair Oaks and $2.5 million for an advancement center on the coast side, which will be housed in Half Moon Bay. South San Francisco, their council chose the name Economic Advancement Center because they felt it conveyed the purpose of the site. We learned that folks on the coast, the Half Moon Bay staff, have decided to call their center the Coast Economic Opportunity Center, primarily because they felt it translated into Spanish more effectively. We wanted to come to you because we are about ready to launch this. It'll be a little bit of a slow ramp up, but we hope to be starting soon, as you'll see in our next slide. But I wanted to get your input on what you thought the name should be. So with help from Diana, we have both the English and Spanish options here. It could be the Economic Advancement Center, it could be the Economic Opportunity Center. I welcome your feedback and your direction.
I'm going to invite those certainly more fluent in Spanish than me to weigh in on which they feel would be more appropriate and acceptable to the community. Any thoughts, ever, Jennifer, Juan Carlos, Blair?
So primarily is going to be a job center. And so there's going to be training and are there going to be economic opportunities in the sense that that, for example, the loan program or the grants that you have been, that the county has been dispensing recently, are those going to continue being part of the center? I'm just trying to understand, get to the core of what the center is going to be
Well,
doing.
why don't we go to the next slide and then we can come to that.
Excellent.
You all don't have to decide tonight. You can provide input to me or to Diana, and I hope to come back to your next meeting and introduce to you the contractors that we're going to be working on. So let's go to the next slide. So the center has two purposes, and we have up in South San Francisco, they have engaged a contractor to provide services for job seekers. People who either are looking for a new job, people who might be are currently unemployed, people who might be in a job but feel that it's not going to be offering them the type of advancement or wages that they need to live here, and people who want to develop their skills more, who want to prepare for a better job. The nonprofit organization Job Train is providing job seeker services up in South San Francisco. And we we issued a request for proposals. We had a committee that included a variety of folks from the county, also people from South San Francisco, because they work for Job Train. And Job Train was selected as the provider of job seeker services for the North Fair Oaks Center. In addition, the centers I mentioned provide support to small businesses and to entrepreneurs. Up in South City, they assist about 60 to 70 small businesses a month. They provide training and individual coaching and classes. They also have created a community for small businesses. They have a women's small business crew. They have a Latina small business owners meeting group. They also do a variety of pop-up events where small businesses can share their wares with the community. They've attended, I think they had a pop-up event at the celebration of the 100th anniversary of some special event up in South San Francisco. South Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center, which has a center based in East Palo Alto, but is also a region-wide throughout the Bay Area. They also issued an RFP for jobs for small business services, and the review committee selected Renaissance. So the same group is providing services in South City, we're providing services down here in North Fair Oaks. We met with both of them. We've had detailed discussions. We have been assured, and will definitely stay on top of the fact that they need to provide great staff at all of their locations. So we are going to the board this coming Tuesday, 31st of January, and asking the board to ratify the agreements for the conference services that both Job Train and Renaissance will provide. Renaissance has already identified their staff, both of whom are culturally and linguistically, they're Spanish speakers. Are also one of the younger women actually grew up in North Fair Oaks, so she's coming back to the community. She's a student at San Jose State right now. We have met with Emma Gonzalez, and they have done, folks from Renaissance, done a walkthrough on Middlefield Road and have already got lots of great ideas about outreach. But I'm hoping next month to bring them back to your meeting so that you can meet them and ask any questions or provide any suggestions you might have. Job Train, once we sign that contract, they will be engaging for staff, people who have the opportunity to participate in the selection of those staff, and our contract includes specific language around this expertise and the type of people we'd like to see, people who would be familiar and welcome and easily able to engage the community. We do not currently have, although we continue to look for a brick and mortar location for a dedicated site for the center. And we are very fortunate that Casa Cerquillo Cultural has offered to share space with us. UL Outpost, the Office of Community Affairs, has outpost folks there. We're going to be working with them, and that's where they'll be located. Job Train and Renaissance provide classes, so we anticipate that they'll be potentially using space at the library, possibly the adult school, maybe the community space at the clinic. They want to get started as soon as possible providing services. And then finally, I guess I've gone through all of that now. I look forward to coming back next month and introducing you to the staff and both Renaissance and Job. Really excited about starting things. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Peggy. Are there any questions from council members? Or input with regard to the naming question that Peggy's looking for some support on input?
What is the timeline for that, for the name? Is there a certain timeline that need to be?
Well, we'll be signing the agreements next week. The board supports that, and Supervisor Slocum is sponsoring these two items. We anticipate there won't be a problem. The items are on our consent agenda. And then we will be sitting down and have kickoff meetings with both of the organizations to develop a specific timeline and work plan. Contracts will be for 20 months. We anticipate a month of planning and preparation, doing initial outreach and engagement, getting to know the community. We then anticipate 18 months, a year and a half of services, and then a month at the end where each of the providers will be asked to write a final report, detailing what they were able to accomplish, who they served, what the outcomes of their services were. We also have built into the contract ongoing meetings and check-ins with both of the contractors to make sure that they're staying on schedule, that they're meeting the targets and the number of people that they've identified. For the Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center, they anticipate assisting over 120 businesses. They've committed to 70 in the North Fair Oaks community. North Fair Oaks is about 15,000 people. That's about the number they have served in South San Francisco, actually a little bit less. But South San Francisco has over 100,000 people. So we thought smaller was an option. We've set it up so that they would be doing initial outreach just in North Fair Oaks. So we hope you all can reach out to businesses, entrepreneurs, and job seekers, direct them to the center. But then if in fact they haven't reached those targets, they will be able to serve people in other parts of the south part of the county. Up in South City, they serve all of the North County from Pacifica down to Central.
I see Kathleen has her hand raised in the room. Go ahead, Councilmember Daley. Believe you're on mute, Kathleen.
There we go. Sorry about that. Great job. Both Job Train and Renaissance are wonderful organizations. One question about Job Train. Do you know if people that work with the Advancement Center would have a faster track into some of Job Train's training programs? I know that their medical assistant program is super popular, but it's a little hard for a lot of people to do with combining work and life and everything else. So that was one question. The other one, the Renaissance, I know two women who used the Renaissance and they got excellent results. And so congratulations on selecting them. And I just forgot my third question, so I apologize. But oh no, I actually am in favor of opportunities versus advancement for the name. So thank you.
Sure. So first question was about support services for people who maybe the work-life balance and how do they prepare for a new job while they're still working, or how do they, is that your concern? One of the things that Job Train has included in their program is that they approach this in what we call a whole person approach to job training and job support. And what that means is that they assess the needs of the individual. Possibly they might need help with transportation, maybe they need some tools to go to a job. So we're really trying to help people succeed. And that's part of the contract that the money in the budget for that type of service. And the other questions, other specific questions about Job Train, I think they'll be very well prepared to answer when they come back after we've all started our work, and they'll be able to spend the next time. That's the one question.
Thank you.
Other questions from council members, either in the room or online?
I'd like to take it back to the name And it sounds to me like it's going to include training and development, which I guess could be enclosed in the word economic. Although I think if there were more specificity in the name of the center, perhaps it would make it clear for people to sort of want to, get interested in such. I think at least in Spanish, when you use the word economic, has more to do with the banking system a little bit, loans and that sort of thing. And for all I know, there may be such opportunities in the center, but I think that something along the lines of Center for Training and Development, could help the title along a little bit, which in Spanish would be Centro de Entrenamiento y Desarrollo. Something like that.
We're open to whatever suggestions or whatever process you'd like to proceed with. This is your community center.
Okay. Other questions from council members?
I did have a second question. That's about the space. Are you looking for specific footage in the space that the center needs?
For specific students,
Like this square footage that the center would need to accommodate whatever, the programs they want to implement.
Like how large, 5,000 square feet?
how much space?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. It depends. The facility in South San Francisco is probably about 5,000 square feet, but they've actually found it's pretty large. They've actually rented out some of their space to other nonprofits to help there. So ideally, we'd like to be on Middlefield Road in South San Francisco. Their center is on Grand Avenue. In downtown, it's easy to get to. We know we've been looking for a long time for space. If you have any suggestions, let us know. We need to know from the community what is close enough to to Middlefield Road, what is easy to get to, and also potentially has easy parking and easy access for everyone. So suggestions, ideas would be greatly appreciated.
Right. And do you know if the center is going to be operating like regular business hours, like 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 sort of thing, or?
Well, it depends on the day of the week and the types of events that are going on. I know in South City, they have dinner gatherings for businessmen, businessmen and women. They have events, they've had some events on weekends, they've had pop-up events in the parking lot on the weekends. So really, it depends upon the kinds of services that are offered and when they feel the community can best come and visit.
Right. Yeah, and so I'm asking this question because at least I think for the training opportunities, I know that for working class individuals, it would work better if there were programs available in the evening and or weekends as well. And if the center were to operate later during the evening, there could be, a potential for partnering with some of the buildings that already exist that operate during the day, but that they're somewhat empty in the evening. Like, for example, I'm thinking about the Sequoia Adult School. They have a big building, they have classrooms. I know they operate in the evening primarily for the same reasons I just mentioned, but I'm not sure if the community center may have space available, that sort of thing.
We're open to all options, and in fact, right now, one of the components of the contract is that both contractors, Renaissance and Job Train, go out and meet all of the providers, all of the service providers in the community to make those connections. And we'll certainly suggest that they connect with, and we have already suggested actually, they connect with the adult school. There might be some good synergy there for co-location.
Right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah, I had thought the community center might be a candidate too, but I'm sure you've already thought of that. I guess I would come down on the side of including opportunity in the name for consistency with the COSI. And I believe a similar center in Palo Alto operates under the name Opportunity Center as well. It's on first or second block south of University, and I'm blanking on the name of it right now.
It's a housing thing by
Oh, it is.
Town and
It's not,
Country Village.
it's not, that's not, has nothing to do with jobs and training and things like that. Okay, well, strike the last thing. And finally, I just want to give a shout out to OCA for the success that we had with the grants program and the work that they did, letting people know the money was out there, helping people complete the forms and the information to get that, because that has just been an enormous help to the businesses of North Fair Oaks. So
We would not have accomplished what we've done without their support.
it's terrific work on that team. Terrific. Is there any public comment on this agenda?
During this time, members of the public, if you wish to comment on agenda item number 4, North Road Small Business Grant Program and Economic Advancement Center, please bring a speaker up to the clerk or use the raise hand feature on Zoom. Victor, are there any public comments on spending?
Thanks, Deanna. Through the chair. No, there's none at the moment.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for your presentation, Peggy. We'll look forward to hearing from you again next week or next month, excuse me, with the contractors.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Agenda item number 5, San Mateo County 101 Express Lanes Community Transportation Benefits Program. We have 20 minutes allowed for this. Presentation is going to be given by Krista Cassidy, Project Manager and Transportation Equity Planner. Krista, I'm assuming is online. There she is.
Hi, everyone.
Krista.
Good evening, everyone. Are you able to see my screen okay?
Yes.
We can, Krista, yes.
Great. Oops. All right. Again, hi, I'm Krista Cassidy. This is transcribing for me. Let me turn that on. There we go. I'm a project manager and transportation equity planner with HNTB. I'm really honored to be here with you all this evening to present to the council an informational item about the San Mateo 101 Express Lanes Community Transportation Benefits Program. So our intention for this presentation is to really just increase awareness about this new program among this group and folks who have dialed in, answer any questions that you might have about it, and then listen to any feedback that might come up throughout the course of the presentation. There'll be time at the end for questions. So the general arc of the presentation is to first talk to you a little bit about the Express Lanes project and the agency behind it, to then talk to you about the equity study that we embarked on to inform an equity program, and then finally talk to you about what it has looked like so far to implement what we are now calling the Community Transportation Benefits Program. So the 101 Express Lanes project, many of you may be familiar with it by now. So it was a project that was really born out of this recognition that congestion on the US 101 continues to worsen as employment and housing and population growth increases. By 2040, as I'm sure many of you know, there's projected to be an additional 134,000 new jobs and 60,000 new households in San Mateo County. But there are very few incentives for folks to ride share on 101 in San Mateo. So with all of that taken together, vehicle trips are really expected to increase. And so that's really was the basis for developing the Express Lanes project. It's a multi-agency project, multi-year project that's done by Caltrans and CCAG and the San Mateo County Transportation Authority. It creates 22 miles of express lanes on the US 101 through San Mateo County. The southern segment opened last February. That was about 8 miles. And then the northern segment is anticipated to open early this year. So a little bit about the governance, just as reference. So the Express Lanes project is governed by a board, a JPA, Joint Powers Authority board that's comprised of board of directors from both CCAG, the City and County Association of Governments of San Mateo County, and then members of the board of the San Mateo County Transportation Authority. You can see their names over on the right. That board is staffed by an executive council and then a policy program manager, and that's HNTV. That's who I work for. So just a little bit of background on what is an express lane. So buses, vans, and carpools of 3 or more people can use an express lane for free, this express lane in particular. Carpools with 2 people in it can receive a 50% discount. And then other drivers would then choose to pay for whatever the posted price is at that moment. So the toll prices are dynamic. They are priced in a way to keep the lane free flowing, and the prices are displayed on overhead signage along the lane. To use the express lane, you need to have a fast track flex pass. And so what that does is if you are 1 person, you're paying full price. If you're two people, you're getting a 50% discount. And then if there are 3 or more folks in your car, then you're in the express lane for free. And the fast track flex pass allows you to sort of toggle between those numbers. Clean air vehicles have a slightly different framework here. Whereas if you're 1 person, you get a 50% discount. Otherwise, it's the same. And then a regular fast track does not get you any of those benefits. So that's just a little background on the Express Lanes project and sort of how you use the Express Lanes. Early on, there were equity concerns about the Express Lanes project overall, really related to just general toll equity concerns. A concern about those who are unbanked or underbanked being able to use the Express Lanes, particularly related to technological barriers, around transponder availability and use. And then finally, the potential for more benefits to accrue to higher income drivers than lower income drivers. And so the Joint Powers Authority Board set out to really embed equity as a focal point of the project and set out to study equity in the context of the Express Lanes project. And they really wanted the eventual equity program to kind of drill down on some of these big questions. How will we provide equity? Is it going to be through discounted tolls in the lane? Is it going to be through investments made outside of the lane? Who should benefit? How much should they benefit? And then finally, how do we implement this program? And so the equity study we started in early 2020. The JPA commissioned a study from Arup as the lead consultant on the study, and Estelano Advisors as a sub-consultant who did community engagement. I was a key staff member on this when I worked at Arup, and the intention of the study was really to develop an equity program that invests toll revenue to provide meaningful mobility benefits to historically underserved communities in San Mateo County. We wanted the program to be flexible, to be able to evolve over time, especially as we're living through this pandemic. And the communities that we're focused on for the study are also some of the hardest hit by COVID. And so we want to recognize that what's working in 2023 may look very different from what worked in 2019 and what's going to work in the future. So we want this to be nimble to respond to changing community needs. So I'm going to just take a minute here to walk you through our equity study process and how we got to our final equity program, the Community Transportation Benefits Program. So we first developed a vision and some desired outcomes for the program. And then we also went out, took on a first round, phase 1 of community engagement to really identify and drill down on what the community needs and challenges were. We actually interviewed Councilmember Rodriguez during that period, so it's good to see you 3 years later almost. We reviewed existing local studies so that we were being sure that we weren't duplicating any previous work that had been done. Wanted to be very aware and sensitive to sort of outreach fatigue among communities in San Mateo County, and really just draw on all the previous work that had been done. So we weren't recreating any wheels. We defined who those targeted communities were that we wanted these benefits to extend to, and then we did a literature review on the issues related to equity and tolling. And from that, we were able to articulate 10 different program alternatives. And what we did was we screened those alternatives through a number of different metrics. So we first looked at how do these align with community feedback? How do these align with our desired outcomes we developed? How many people can this help? And how meaningful is the benefit to people? How much will it cost? And then what are any administrative challenges that come along with this program? And so from there, we got down to four final alternatives. There was an express lanes benefit, transit benefit, place-based improvements. So that would be things like a new bus shelter or a bike lane, and then a carpool rewards program. And so we packaged those up again and took those back out into the community, went on these community road shows, conducted more interviews with folks to really get a sense, and surveyed people to really get a sense for what resonated. And then we also did a technical evaluation to see how these different alternatives performed in terms of, time travel savings and things like that. And we landed on a final recommended equity program. So I'm going to talk about a few of the component pieces of that process that I just think are interesting to highlight. This group might find interesting. So the literature review findings were a very robust literature review. And so I'm not going to go through all of our key findings, but I'll just highlight 3. The first is that congestion pricing schemes or tolling is generally more equitable than the status quo of unpriced roads because of the way negative externalities from unpriced roads really burdens low-income communities of colors and communities of color in particular. That revenue redistribution from tolling is the key to equitable outcomes in this sort of scheme. And then finally, that low-income drivers are a smaller share of peak period traffic, and therefore they are less likely to pay the highest tolls in a dynamic tolling environment like the one we've been discussing. So again, I wanted to just really highlight how our work was underpinned by a community engagement approach and just sort of run through the pillars of what we relied on as part of our outreach. So the first were these interviews with community leaders from around San Mateo County to really understand community transportation challenges. The second was a community partner program, and that was where we paid community-based organizations to conduct surveys on behalf of the study and to really do outreach on our behalf to get a sense from folks, from their constituents and stakeholders, what their transportation challenges and needs were. We took our alternatives out on this community roadshow to present to community groups and have collaborative discussions about what works and what's resonating, what doesn't work. Held public meetings in multiple languages, and also engaged throughout the whole life of the equity study period, an equity study advisory committee to help guide our work. So I wanted to just share, I think this is just some of the really interesting tidbits that came out of that community engagement. So phase 1, like I've said, was really to identify what the community challenges are or were and are, and input on how the revenue should be used. And so what we heard was that folks were dealing with unreliable public transportation, a high cost of transportation, and too much traffic. And that they wanted toll subsidies or other programs to help low-income drivers use the lanes and really be able to benefit from the lanes. People wanted more frequent and reliable public transportation, improved sidewalk and bike infrastructure, and discounted or free transit passes. And then the phase 2 work, like I mentioned, was really about getting input on those final 4 program alternatives. And so what we heard was that the express lanes and the transit benefits received the most support. and that people really wanted a hybrid for these alternatives. They didn't want us to just offer one or the other. And that there was a real stress on the need for multilingual, culturally sensitive education on how to use the express lanes and how to access this program. And finally, the amount that we had been testing out, $50, that was too low of an amount to be meaningful benefit. So as I said, this all informed our final program, which we have named the Community Transportation Benefits Program. And what it is a program that provides folks with a choice between $100 on a Clipper card or $100 and a free Fast Track Flex transponder that they can use in the express lanes or anywhere else that a Fast Track is used. Our budget for the first year for this is $1.4 million and $600,000 annually after that. So we're trying to get this benefit into the hands of as many people as possible. Our goal is just really to spend this money down. The eligibility for this is that you have to be a resident of San Mateo County, 18 or older, and make an individual income that's at or below 60% of the county AMI, which for 2022 was $78,300. And the last piece is that, and you'll see in a minute, we're partnered with the county's core service agencies network. And so if you are eligible to receive any benefit through the core service agencies network, you are eligible to receive this benefit as well. And the income threshold for this program was set at this level with a real recognition that the cost of living in San Mateo County is very high. And so you'll see that this is a much higher income threshold than a lot of other programs around, and that was the thinking there. So as I mentioned, the program is administered by Samaritan House, specifically in the core service agencies network. So anybody who walks into one of the core service agencies can sign up for this program. Even if they're going in to sign up for another benefit, the case managers will ask if they want to sign up for this program as well. And so what I want to show you kind of to close is just where we've landed with the program in the 8 months since we've rolled out. So we launched at the end of April 2022. And through the end of December, we had enrolled 1,465 people. You can see the breakdown here. About 18% of those folks choose Fast Track and 82% have chosen the Clipper benefit. The income level, the reported income level from program participants is overwhelmingly folks who've reported that they have no income, with the next highest percentage of 32% of participants reporting that they make around under $25,000 annually. And then finally, 7% of folks are saying reporting that they make between $25,000 and $50,000 a year, and that one tiny percent in that highest income threshold. We've found this to be just really, I think, really interesting, because even though we made this decision to increase that income threshold to be very high, we're still seeing that the vast majority of benefits are flowing to the lowest income folks that are coming in looking for services. So this is a breakdown of where our participants live. So we see South San Francisco and Daly City really having the majority of our participants. San Mateo at 10%, San Bruno at 7%. The coastal communities comprise about 14%. We see North Fair Oaks here at 2%. And so we would really love all of your help in getting that number up and hopefully sharing this benefit far and wide with folks in your community. In terms of race and ethnicity, we see that around 46% of participants are Hispanic, 28% are Asian or Asian American, 11% are white, 8% are Black, African American or African, and then 1% Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander or multiracial. Finally, we have a survey question as part of our intake process where we ask participants how they will use the benefit, and they can select as many answers as they'd like. 50% say that they're using it to get food or run other household errands. 49% are using it to get to their healthcare, and 39% reporting that they're using it to get to work. And then you can see some of the other options down below, but that's sort of the vast majority of how people are using this benefit. So like I said, really the purpose of bringing this to you all today was informational, and our real hope is that you'll help us promote the program among folks in North Fair Oaks that you think can benefit from it. So with that, I will stop sharing and see if there are questions or other feedback.
Thank you, Krista. Are there any questions from council members in the room on the program?
I do have a couple.
Councilmember Rodriguez, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. The first question is, how long does it take to fill out the form to apply?
That's a great question. I think what we've found, I can't answer you specifically. I think it's probably under 10 minutes. If somebody is already in the core service agency system, it's really a matter of asking them that one survey question at the end about how they're going to use the benefit, and then they're enrolled. So if they're already in the system because they're receiving other social service benefits through the network, then it is a very seamless and quick process.
Yeah.
Initially, just as maybe interesting background, we had a whole series of about 8 survey questions that we were having case managers ask, because we really wanted to get a sense for how this benefit could be used or augmented over time to better meet transportation needs and challenges from the people who were signing up. And that was too burdensome. And so we did remove the majority of those questions with the real intent to streamline this process and just get people enrolled.
And I understand that if people cannot apply online, they need to go to a specific community center to apply for that program. Is that correct?
At this moment, that's right. Yeah. So you can either call or go to the core service agency.
Yeah. So in North Fair Oaks, what are those centers?
The core agency for the North Fair Oaks is the Fair Oaks Community Center.
Oh, okay. All right. And the last question is, will there be a follow-up study to check on the general use of the fast lanes, just so that we know whether those lanes are actually serving the purpose, or if they're just remaining empty, without motorists using it?
So the lane is monitored, daily. There's a lot of technology that goes into monitoring it. I can't speak to a specific timeline for a sort of a monitoring report coming out, but I'm happy to follow up with you on that and ask my colleagues. What I can say about the program itself is that we're treating this as a pilot year to really learn how the community transportation benefits program works, and planning to adapt and change it over time through a rigorous evaluation process once we close out the first year at the end of April. And we might look into some other options for expanding the opportunities for enrollment beyond the core service agencies, who are a very important partner in this, but thinking about other ways we can get people enrolled beyond that, and really understanding how it's been working for people and how we could change and grow the program. But about the express lanes overall, that's something I can definitely get back to you about.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And finally, I'd just like to mention, for the sake of building up this specific opportunity for low-income people, that having to apply. That's why I was asking how long it may take, to fill out the application, because it is $100. And so people will evaluate how long it takes for them to fill out this form. And, particularly for working class individuals, filling out forms, and also being unable to either speak the language, speak English, or having the technological skills that are necessary to fill out a form, if it's online. They're already at a disadvantage. And also the fact that working class individuals tend to not be the sort of people who drive electric vehicles, and so that is an additional disadvantage that is not necessarily the fault of any transportation agency or anything, but it's just the reality of their economy. So just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I see Councilmember Daley. Kathleen, you have your hand up in the room. Please go ahead.
Hi, yes. Thank you for your presentation. I think you've been given a really difficult task because in my world, we think of that fast lane as the rich people's lane, that no one else can ever drive on it. I wonder sometimes if now they're looking at programs because it's not working and they're not making the money that they need to pay for it. So that's just a little side comment. I know it's a little snarky, but I don't understand. I've never understood that lane. I do wonder though, if it wouldn't make more sense to try and get some of the North Fair Oaks businesses that might be running down to pick up parts. When you look at what people said that they would use this for, I don't think of somebody getting on 101 that lives in North Fair Oaks and getting on 101 in the express lane to go get groceries. So, or to drive their children to school, maybe some of them, but I think that in many ways, the businesses might benefit. I remember one driver popped in to drop something off and we were joking about the lane, the rich people's lane. And he said, oh no, it works okay because my business, the owner of the company got us a fast track pass so we can actually use the lane. So I'm wondering if some of the businesses that are running parts up and down the peninsula, going maybe to Restaurant Depot or to Costco or places like that where the businesses might benefit. If that would be another way to try to increase some enrollment. I know you have a threshold for income, but I think that lane might be used a little bit more if we had more access to it. And then my last question had to do with trying to understand if people are going to take that $100 and ride around on that lane while they can, and then discard the card when they're done and go back to the way in which they can afford to drive, which is on the slower lanes. So I just worry that that $100 is going to just, be used up, and then it's kind of like getting a gift card to a store. Once you're done, do you go back? So just some thoughts, but I do appreciate your presentation, and I don't think it's an easy job you have in front of you. So thank you for your work.
Thanks for your comments, Kathleen, or Councilmember Daley.
Are there other questions from council members? I have a couple, Krista. Talk a little bit about the outreach. Well, I can go ahead and make a suggestion. Actually, 2% of your program participants are from North Fair Oaks. I'm assuming you've met with the folks in the Office of Community Affairs and have leveraged the outreach ability they have. I think you probably, if you were on the call for an earlier presentation, you saw the success that they had with the business programs, the business support programs. And I'm certain that if you worked with them, they could increase that percentage by a great deal as far as the engagement of North Fair Oaks residents is concerned. Have you been working with Emma and her team?
No, I haven't, and had the same thought when I was listening to the presentation earlier. So we have been focusing our marketing up until pretty much this very point on just marketing to existing core service agency clientele. So really making sure that those who are already going in for services are aware of the program. And we're entering into a second phase of our outreach and sort of marketing for the program, where we're looking beyond the core service agencies to other community partners, just like the Office of Community Affairs, looking at the community council, or sorry, excuse me, the community college district in San Mateo County, labor unions, and really identifying where are some of those other community partners that can help us promote the program. So I will be following up with the
That would be
OCA.
great.
Yeah.
So many people in the program are using kind of the public transit Clipper card as their vehicle of choice, and more people are using it to run errands than any other reason. And I think you'll find people in North Fair Oaks would be really receptive to something like that.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
The other question I had was, you said the program funding is 1.9 million this year and it's 600,000 next year. Will that 600,000 cover everyone currently enrolled in the program and perhaps the growth that hopefully you'll see going forward?
So it was 1.4 in the first year and 600 after, and at the rate at which we're signing folks up, yes. And if not, this is a top priority for the JPA board. So I think that we would course correct at that point if we're seeing an overwhelming response to the program, to make sure that everybody who wants this benefit can get it.
And the people who get it this year theoretically can get it next year as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. 600,000 is really the floor for the program, not the
Okay.
ceiling.
Any other questions from council members? Do we have any public comment?
During this time, members of the public, if you wish to comment on agenda item number 5, San Mateo County 101 Express Lanes, please bring your speakers above to the clerk or use the raise hand feature on Zoom. Victor, are there any public comment on the Spanish lane?
Through the chair, none. There's none at the moment.
Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Krista, for your presentation. And I look forward to hearing about the results you get reaching out to OCA, and perhaps, it sure would be nice to see the North Fair Oaks population become double or triple in your percentages. That would be terrific.
Yes, we'd love that too. Thank you so much for having me, and please feel free to follow up with other questions as they come up.
Thank you very much. Next agenda item, number 6, the 2021-2022 San Mateo County Library's annual report for the North Fair Oaks Library. That presentation is going to be given by Carmen Latona Adams, the branch manager of San Mateo County Libraries. Carmen, I believe you're online. There we are.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to start my screen share. I always forget which button it is. Should be that one. Okay, great. So hi, everyone. Good evening, Chair Esser and the members of the North Fair Oaks Community Council. My name is Carmen Latona Adams, and I'm the branch manager of North Fair Oaks Library. And I'm pleased to present the annual report for fiscal year 2021-2022. So just a little bit of background. First established as a county free library in 1912, the Library Joint Powers Authority was formed in 1999. Covering 351 square miles, our service area is comprised of our 11 member cities and in unincorporated San Mateo County. San Mateo County Libraries is uniquely positioned to see the broader county service area, while at the same time understanding each community that we serve. Approximately 283,000 people live in our service area, and 76% have a library card. The unique diversity and complexity of those we serve inspire and drive our services. Our communities face another year of profound change. Through ongoing recovery efforts, San Mateo County Libraries has continued to adapt physical and virtual services to meet critical needs, and staff never wavered in their commitment to provide equitable resources, programs, and services. Each of our 13 libraries is unique, but also part of a larger family offering transformative experiences and a single mission: to strengthen our community by creating an inclusive sense of place and an environment for learning. San Mateo County Libraries continues to be a high-performing organization. Some standout benchmarks include a 96% favorability rating, 1.6 million website visitors, and over 4 million wireless sessions. go. The library system had over 2 million checkouts and 935,000 library visitors. Yeah, I said that right. 935,000 library visitors. Locally, the North Fair Oaks Library had 21,695 of library visitors and circulated 25,703 items for fiscal year 2021-2022. San Mateo County Libraries provides unmatched services to our community, and we are consistently ranked as one of the best libraries in the nation. We started off 2022 with a new title, being named a 5-star library for the very first time by Library Journal. We currently rank first in California and third in nationwide when compared to peer libraries. This incredible honor acknowledges our success and commitment to servicing our patrons and the value our communities place in our library services. And I just wanted to say the Beetle Lady, that picture I took only a few weeks ago. That was a very fun program. This is also at our library. Our staff's innovation and strong desire to serve the community led to the creation of new impactful library services this year. Each year we make tremendous progress on our goals, and it is my pleasure to highlight some of our system accomplishments. This year we launched a 7-day-a-week service and expanded evening hours at our libraries, allowing for greater access. We also provided vital support, including the distribution of free COVID-19 masks and test kits, and work to address food insecurities in our communities. We successfully launched the Empower Card, new library cards designed to simplify and expand student access to library resources. And for our community, we did this in partnership with Redwood City Public Library. We continue to strengthen partnerships with community groups and prioritize programming that reflects the diverse backgrounds, interests, and experiences of the people that we serve. Our collections are always expanding. This year, the community gained access to valuable digital information and resources to help support those looking for employment, rent relief, mental health support, and much, much more. Our award-winning Big Lift Inspiring Summer Camps served over 900 youth at 8 school sites, making significant progress in advancing literacy and academic performance in our most vulnerable communities. Parent feedback continues to be overwhelmingly positive. 93% of parents reported that their child enjoyed the program, and 99% would recommend the program to their families. Continued Measure K funding supported these programs, which includes over 50,000 free giveaways of children's books, and the employment of 200 high school and college-age interns who gained valuable life experience and skills. In response to families craving more in-depth offerings, our staff developed a new STEM curriculum. This new program included fun educational hands-on activities for families to experience together. Through a new program with the state library, we rolled out free California state park passes inside our hiking backpacks. And then more recently, we've also partnered with the county parks to do the same. We have expanded on the abundance of technology available to our communities, from 3D printers to virtual reality, coding workshops, and camera kits. The options are endless for our users to create, innovate, and learn. Our latest innovation initiative is creating new maker and digital spaces and offering more maker programs to the community. On Saturday, June 4th, after 3 years of construction, the beautiful new Atherton Library opened. The library's flexible and inviting space is the perfect location for all community members to enjoy a variety of library programming and thoughtfully designed inviting spaces. After being apart for so long, there is something so special about seeing our community members coming together to enjoy our inside spaces. And the next slide is a video of our patrons sharing what they enjoy the most of our libraries. And I'm gonna have to make the screen smaller, and let me know if you can't hear this.
You can't hear it. There's no sound.
We're not getting any sound, Carmen.
No sound? Okay. Maybe I'll come back to that at the very
Okay.
end. So while I fiddle with the sound, I just wanted to say that was the end of my presentation. And I would like to thank, the library staff, of course, for their tremendous work and creativity, but also the county staff and the council for your ongoing support, especially Supervisor Slocum, our county deputy Justin Mates, for their work with the JPA governing board and the operations committee. And while I fiddle with the video sound, I'm happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions from council members for Carmen?
I do have a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Carmen, thank you for the presentation and for the tremendous work that you and your team do for the community. I'm just wondering, how does the Spanish language selection of materials is done? Is it done centrally for all the libraries? Or is it done by each individual branch?
That's a great question. So up until recently, it was done centrally, but also individually tailored per location. However, one of our equity initiatives is to bring all languages to all of our libraries. So we've expanded world language selections to all of our libraries. Particularly for North Fair Oaks, our collection is still majority English and Spanish, but our growing collection includes Hindi languages, Chinese languages, Russian, and Japanese. And we're hoping to expand to more languages as well.
Thank you. And do you continue to give out COVID testing kits at the library?
We do, yeah. So we have sometimes partnered with other outside agencies to get COVID tests. Most recently, we partnered with an agency that's located out of East Palo Alto. They had some tests that they didn't need, and so we absorbed them into our North Fair Oaks and East Palo Alto location. The majority of the libraries also have some, but I know in particular that we like to always have some for North Fair Oaks. It's a very valuable resource to our community members.
Excellent. And finally, do you know if the North Fair Oaks Library is getting a bigger and better space anytime soon, or you haven't heard anything about it?
That's always the dream, to get a bigger and better space. I do know that we have some funding available to support our own bathroom. For those of you who don't know, we are next to the Human Services Agency and we have a shared bathroom, and the bathroom is located on their side. So there has been funding allocated for our own bathroom, as well as some other, just additional work that the library needs to, to update the facility. But no word on a new, bigger library. But that's always the dream and the goal. So for now, we know that we'll be getting a bathroom.
Excellent. Yeah, let us know how we can advocate for it.
Thank you. I think I figured out the video. Do you want me to play the video or take more questions?
Please do, Carmen, go ahead.
Okay, let me know if it's not working.
I like going to the library because I love cooking and there's a lot of cooking books.
I come into the library because it's a sense of peace and it's part of the community. It's just a place to relax and enjoy.
Me gusta mucho el contenido, todo lo que hay en este lugar, en los libros, tienen muy buenos libros para leer.
I like to come to the library to do art.
I like coming here for the meditation group as Monday through Fridays, and it helps me with my mental health.
Love the selection of books, especially my daughter's in a Spanish immersion program, so there's tons of Spanish-speaking books that we don't find at some of the other libraries or bookstores.
Because I like to play with the things inside the library.
That's it. I'm just gonna pause it on our share story time, just so you guys have something to look at. Are there any other questions I can answer?
Other questions from council members? I don't see any online. Are there any in the room? I was kind of doing the math, Carmen, and by that I mean I was dividing the number of library visits by the number of people in your service area overall. And it looks like throughout the service area, the average resident visits the library about 3 times a year, 900,000 divided by about 300,000. And in North Fair Oaks, it's about half of that. We have 21,000 visitors for resident population of about 15,000 people. And I guess I'm wondering if there's anything, you know, the council can lobby for or the county can provide that might help encourage people to visit the library, quite honestly, more frequently. I mean, I'm sure you've got programs that do that. I guess I just noticed a bit of an imbalance there, and I was wondering if you might be able to use some assistance with that.
So, and then one thing to take note, I guess, is this is including the last fiscal year, right? So the beginning of last fiscal year, we were still deeply recovering from COVID and encouraging more people to come to the library, and we started doing more in-person library programming. So I have the people statistics for up until, you know, last month, and I see a very steady incline of people continuing to come. But we always, you know, need the support of the council just to continue promoting our fun programs. And I'm happy to share with the council a little bit later information about our Dia de Niños program that we're planning with Redwood City Together and then various other local partners here in North Fair Oaks. And we would like to make it a nice big event and, you know, invite everybody and have people check out books that day.
Okay.
Planning it to be Sunday, April 30th.
Okay. Councilmember Daley, Kathleen, I see your hand up in the room.
Hi, yes, I think we need to get Carmen her own library, a brand new one in North Fair Oaks, really pretty with a bathroom. Make that happen. So thank you for your presentation, Carmen.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council members? Do we have any public comment on this agenda item?
During this time, members of the public, if you wish to comment on agenda item number 6, San Mateo County Library Annual Report, please bring the speaker slip up to the clerk or use the raise hand feature on Zoom. Victor, are there any public comment in Spanish line?
There's no moment.
Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Deanna. And thank you very much, Carmen, for your presentation. Be sure to keep us informed on special library events and things like that. We'd love to help promote that and participate as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, agenda item number 7, the Healthy Community Mural Project update, including an opportunity for community feedback, artist selection process, and timeline and next steps. That presentation is going to be given by Kent Mansky of the Cultural Collective of North Fair Oaks. Kent, the floor is yours.
Could you all confirm that you see my screen?
We do, and we can hear you as well.
It is really an honor, and I'm quite excited to give you all an update on the Healthy Community Mural Project. We have been on this project for a long time, and we are getting really close to selecting our artist, and we're looking forward to you being a part of that process. So the Healthy Community Mural Project Committee consists of Robin Rodricks of the Office of Arts and Culture, Jeannie Heisey of the Arts Commission. 2 other county representatives are Maggie Cahijo of Warren Slocum's office and Diana Hernandez of the Office of Cultural Affairs. In addition, there's 3 community members from Culture Collective of North Fair Oaks, which I am one of them. And in addition, we've had with us a high school representative from Summit High School, Ashley Hernandez, who unfortunately had to drop out just this last week, but has helped us usher the process along. Update for those new to the council. This is a community-inspired mural project under the Fifth Avenue Bridge, particularly on the pedestrian walkway. And it will consist of putting murals on the 16 to 19 panels that are existing there. I obviously put a little white on them. They're really just pure cement, but you can imagine now where the location of those murals are going to be. The concept was developed by the North Fair Oaks Public Art Work Group when it was active in 2017 with input from the community. This project, the mural project, is part of a three-phase project called the North Fair Oaks Beautification Project that was initiated in 2017 by Mike Callaghy. Phase 1 was landscaping the center divide and sides of Fifth Avenue, and that was completed. Thank you, Warren Slocum, Supervisor Slocum. Phase 2 is the murals that we're working on right now, and so those are in progress. And phase 3 is converting the area of this pedestrian underpass. By the way, the only passageway from one side of the tracks to the other in North Fair Oaks. So it's a long walk to get to the library. Anyways, phase 3, microparks with community gathering areas and public art. Love that quote by Mike Callaghy. I would like this project to be the gateway to North Fair Oaks and a destination for art. For comfort level here, the red line is the border of North Fair Oaks. The black line is where this project mural is located. Through the center of your screen, you see Fifth Avenue. To the right is Middlefield Road. To the left is El Camino Real. So you see the underpass and you see in red where the murals are actually going to be located. And you can see by the yellow sidewalks that there's a lot of walking that happens in this area. So we really look forward to the improvement of that experience going underneath the Caltrain Bridge. Completed events today include our community service that took place in the fall of 2022. We had 273 surveys completed. Shortly after that, we had community meeting 1, and that was November 29th, when the community came together to discuss the mural topics that were collected from the survey results, which I'll briefly share with you in a minute. Our upcoming events were really charged about the community meeting on February 7th. So this will be in person at the North Fair Oaks Library. Thank you, Carmen. And online via Zoom. At this meeting, all 3 artists finalists will give their presentations of their proposed mural ideas for the theme Healthy Community Mural. The community will have a chance at that time to give feedback to each of the artists and then to overall what their opinion of what was presented that evening. It'll take the summer, the rest of the spring for the artists to pull their design together, and the summer to paint it. And then we look forward in August of 2023 to have a public celebration event. Our community survey was distributed via ballot boxes at 3 locations in North Fair Oaks and online. It was promoted with flyers, posters, social media, bridge banners, door-to-door visitations, and then organizational visitations. The results of the survey were given to each of the 3 artists for them to prepare their presentation for the February 7th meeting. There were 23 suggestions to comment on the survey itself. In other words, healthy community topics. We ranked the top 16 there based on vote getters because there are actually 16 large panels, and the artist may choose to address each issue on a single panel. We don't know what the artists are going to actually present to us because they pretty much have free reign as artists just to follow the community's theme. So come on the February 7th and be a part of that process and make your voice heard. We also gave the artists not just this inventory, but we also gave them the comments that were also collected during the survey. The three artists are Morgan Bricca, Emily Fromm, and Elizabeth Gomez. Morgan is from Los Altos, Emily Fromm from Montera, and Elizabeth Gomez from Redwood City. So we're very pleased to have two San Mateo County artists as part of the final selection. And they're there because all three are extremely qualified and will really probably blow us away on February 7th with their presentations. How we came to these three artist finalists was through a Bay Area-wide call for entries, so a request for proposals. And from that, we whittled it down to these three artists, and we offered them a proposal award so that they would invest time and energy into sharing their vision for this project with the community on the 7th. How are we going to choose that one artist to select to paint the mural? And that's here at the bottom with the final artist selection. At the community meeting, we are going to listen to the feedback from the community, including North Fair Oaks Community Council members who are in attendance. On the 14th, the Healthy Community Mural Project Committee will select one artist to recommend to Warren Slocum. You notice in yellow there, it says proposed North Fair Oaks Community Council input. That is a discussion currently in progress with Brooks and probably between you all of how you can participate. And I'm going to leave that discussion up to you all and Robin Rodricks, the head of the Office of Arts and Culture. But that meeting will be a really opportunity to make that hard decision between these three artists. Ultimately, on 2/16, the final decision will be made by Warren Slocum. 2 days later, we announce to the artist that they have been selected, and the artist then gets to work because there's a lot of work to prepare for painting 16 panels based on a theme selected by the community. I thank you on behalf of the Healthy Community Mural Project Committee for giving me this time to give you an update, my second full presentation update to you. For any additional information on the project, that is the website that tracks where we've been, what we're doing, and where we're going. And at this time, I'll open it up to any questions from the council.
Are there any questions from council members for questions in the room? Are there questions online? I don't see any raised hands. Ken, quick question. We talk about August as being the reveal date. You know, with any luck, our Middlefield Road project will be completed by then. North Fair Oaks Community Festival was I believe it was in August this year. So this could be a really terrific part of what might be a big celebration weekend. So we'll keep you in the loop as progress completes on Middlefield and as we begin planning the community festival. But be aware this would be a terrific addition to what could be a really great weekend for the community. I certainly plan to attend the meeting on 7th of August and encourage other members of the council to attend as well, because this is input time. This is the time to listen to the artists and their ideas. Having attended a prior meeting, and I think you'd agree, Ken, the artists have very different styles. And that's going to be part of the theme of each individual artist. It's going to carry through all of the mural panels. So we need to look at not just the subject matter, but also the kind of the style of the artist and feel, and determine how appropriate that is for our community. So it's a very interesting process. Juan Carlos, I see your hand up. You have a question.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on what you said. I was also in a meeting with you on November 29th, our first community meeting. And I was really encouraged by the community participation, having the 3 artists there. Certainly, I think provided a lot of insight on what each artist is proposing. I think they're also different. So I definitely look forward to going on February 7th back to the North Fair Oaks Library for the for those that will be participating in person. So I can't stress enough also the importance of this coming together later this summer with the festivities already planned for the North Fair Oaks area. So it looks like we have a lot to look forward to later this year.
Piggybacking on the comments the two of you made, this is a really incredible opportunity for the community to see how artists think, how artists process, how artists take your input, the community's input, and shape it to become a really significant work of art within a community. There's a lot of learning that can happen here, and I hope a lot of children attend. So we are doing a lot of marketing because we'd like to really provide this opportunity for people to see the vision of 3 female artists, and they have toured our community. They have done interviews with our community. They're all doing research in their own way, and it's really quite exciting. One thing I'll share with you, one of the reasons we have been aiming for August for quite some time is that Warren Slocum wanted it to be part of the National Cultural Celebration Month, and particularly spotlight this project for that month.
Councilmember Daly, you have a question. Go ahead, Kathleen.
Yes, I'm sorry. I think I might have missed it. How do we encourage people, and how can residents vote? Or how, I apologize, I missed that.
That's okay. The residents already made their voices heard with the survey.
Okay.
They made their voices heard at community meeting 1, and now at community meeting 2 on February 7th. After each artist makes their presentation, the public is encouraged to share their thoughts.
Okay.
That could be what they like, what they don't like, what they respond to, what they don't respond to. It's really an opportunity for us all to have a lively discussion after each artist and then at the end. So there's not going to be any kind of vote taken. The decision will actually be made by the committee, who has been working on this for many, many years, and have the nice balance between community members and county members. And we'll be listening carefully to everything that was said and apply it in our decision making.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Any other questions from council members?
I do have a question, not necessarily for Ken. Thank you, Ken, for your presentation and for all the work that you have put in for this project. I appreciate it. But my question was related to the discussion about the extent of the council members' involvement that we kind of were wondering during the study session for the selection process. And so basically, what I'm understanding from Kent is that really, it really doesn't matter that council members attend this second meeting and provide feedback, because there's not going to be a vote, essentially. And the other thing is that basically the Arts Committee will make the final selection. So even if all the council members were to provide feedback that was similar in nature, ultimately the committee is the one that's making the final selection. And just for historical context, when the mural at 2nd Avenue and Middlefield Road was going through the process, basically it was the North Oaks Council that did the selection of the artists. And it was a similar project where artists were going to be paid. So there wasn't, in my view, a conflict. And so I see much less conflict in this particular case because it's not the council making any particular recommendation about a specific artist, but just commenting as regular residents of North Fair. So in my view, unless any of us council members have for a friend, any of these artists, I don't see a conflict of interest really. So I think, it sounds like council members should be free to attend the second meeting on February 6th, and just provide feedback, on their own likes or dislikes about the project.
Clearly, on February 7th, that is the only time that the presentation will be made. And so that is a really important time to put on your calendars so that your feedback is heard. I will share with you that we had originally an earlier date for the second community meeting, which would have allowed council members to have a conversation amongst themselves at one of your Thursday meetings before the committee voted. But unfortunately, there was too many dates tangled in the county, and we had to jump that meeting to February 7th, which doesn't give us a time to allow you at one of your meetings to have a discussion should you have chosen to put it on an agenda item.
And with that said, Kent, I think it's appropriate that interested council members attend the February 7th meeting, encourage their neighbors to do the same and offer input as we would as any other resident. And I think that'll give you a sense of the way the council members feel about the individual artists and that sort of thing. And so I'm completely comfortable with the process and the opportunity that we have as representatives of the community to provide input on this. It looks terrific to me.
Right.
Could I chime in there just really quickly?
Certainly.
As Adam Ely from the County Executive's Office, just because I can hear there's some discussion and concern potentially under the discussion regarding the Brown Act and additional more than a quorum of members attending and coming to a joint conclusion, making recommendations. Just to be ultra cautious and to put everybody in a position of comfort, we'll get an opinion from council on whether or not the number of the board members above a quorum should attend and in what capacity, just so everybody's comfortable with that and operating on secure footing.
Okay, did you hear that, Ken? The position of the county executive. This is from information for you only. We, the North Fair Oaks Community Council, operate under the Brown Act. Long story short, incredibly simplified view. members of organizations, bodies like ours cannot meet outside of a publicly announced meeting to discuss council business. A quorum, a majority of members cannot do that. And I'm not sure, and Adam will check with county council on this, given that public meeting, community meeting number 2 is going to be a publicly announced meeting with an agenda and that sort of thing. We'd be attending a meeting that I believe would be run under principles of the Brown Act, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll just check, just to make sure everybody is in a comfortable position. And then if the recommendation from council is to send less than a quorum, we'll just, no
In any-
more than 3 should show up.
There will be representation from the council. The only question is, and it's an issue for council COU and CIL and COU and SEL to determine if we can send more than a majority of our members there. But there will be representation from the council, I assure you, on the 7th of February.
Right, and yeah, so this came up last week, actually, when we were getting instructed on the Brown Act. So we sort of started the conversation, but since it was not on the agenda, we carried it on to today when it was on the agenda. But yeah, thank you for reminding us.
I see Emma's hand up in the room. Do you have a comment, Emma?
Yeah, the only comment that I would add is, sorry, I'm echoing, is when we're talking to county council, if we could just confirm in what capacity the North Bronx council members that do attend the February 7th, are they, if that makes any difference, are they going in the capacity of the council or in the capacity as a resident? And what those Brown Act, if any of that falls within the Brown Act.
Absolutely. We get very clear instruction.
You beat me to that, Emma, because when I envision the council members coming to the February 7th meeting, I see you just like us as a part of the community, having a discussion about what we would like in our community. And I do have to share with you, it was very much appreciated that Juan Carlos and Brooks attended community meeting 1, because the community members, when we all introduced ourselves, got to understand and learn about what roles and positions do exist in our community.
Very good, Ken. Are there any other questions from council members? I don't see any in the room. Is there any public comment on this issue?
At this time, members of the public, if you wish to comment on agenda item number 7, Healthy Community Mural Project, please bring a speaker stick up to the clerk or use the raise hand feature on Zoom. Victor, are there any public comment on the Spanish line?
Thank you. There's none at the moment.
Thank you. Back to you, Ken.
Thank you very much, Deanna. Thank you very much for your presentation, Kent. We are looking forward to the February 7th meeting. We will be there. The only question is, will all of us be there or a limited number given the provisions of the Brown Act? But we will be there to offer our input.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all your work on this project. Really.
Through the chair, there's a motion action on this agenda item.
I believe that was to clarify our attendance at the meeting, and now that motion is unnecessary given that we're going to given that it'll be county council's role to say yes, all you can go, no problem, or no, you need to figure out 3 or fewer or something like that. So thank you for pointing that out.
Excellent. Thank you.
Next agenda item is the report outs. Supervisor's report. I believe we have Maggie on the line. There she is.
I'm here. Good evening, council members. My name is Maggie Cornejo, and I'm a legislative aide for Supervisor Warren Slocum. I just have two quick updates. The first one is that our office has added a new person, our new legislative aide to the team. Her name is Susie, and she used to work for Supervisor Carol Groom before for about 8 years, and now she's working with Supervisor Slocum, and we'll be focusing on senior programs and public safety, among other topics as well. And the second thing on my list is just that to let you all know that this will be my last council meeting. I will be moving on to a different job opportunity with the Boys and Girls Club. And I will be leaving the county by February 10th. So it's been a pleasure to get to know all of you. And I've been here for 5 years. So, and before that was working in a different capacity with the council members, but it's been great and I will miss all of my colleagues.
We are going to miss you too, Maggie. Thank you so much for the support you've provided over the last 5 years, and we definitely wish you success in your new position with the Boys and Girls Clubs. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for your report as well. County Executive's report. We have a new member of our group here from the County Executive's office. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Adam, and present your report for this evening.
Great. It's very nice to meet everybody virtually and in person. Meeting has been very professionally done, so that's a joy to come into. My name's Adam Ely. I'm a new deputy county executive. I come through the county attorney's office and then through the county's project development unit. So I was working on all the new construction in the county. Recently, I've been working as the incident commander and EOC director in response to the storms. So that's been, one of my initial assignments, quite an interesting one. So I look forward to working with everybody and learning more about the issues and supporting in the ways we can. The report out that I have, as I mentioned, the county has been doing a lot of work around the storms, starting on New Year's Eve through January 15th. The Emergency Operations Center here on campus was open 24 hours a day, working on the response. A lot of that obviously touched North Fair Oaks. We had embedded in our Emergency Operations Center, Emma, keeping us sort of well apprised of the needs of the region. A lot of the requests were for sandbags, and the county had acquired sort of in the New Year's Eve at an early stage access to a pretty good supply of sandbags. So we spent a lot of time trying to get those out to the community and keep them supplied. Obviously, following that, the county has had this awful incident in Half Moon Bay, which it's continuing to work to respond and address the needs of the victims and those impacted. Those are some of the major issues that we're dealing with. I want to also remind that as part of the disaster recovery effort, we have sent out a survey to impact throughout the county for folks to report to us damage and impact so that we can report that up to the federal government. The reason I was going to bring this up is that we were still collecting data to submit to FEMA so that we could qualify for individual assistance for individuals that were impacted by the storm. The unofficial word I'm getting while I'm sitting here is that we may have been qualified. So I will confirm that after this meeting. But in the event we have not yet qualified, there is a survey that exists where we're collecting information and providing it onto FEMA regarding the magnitude of the impacts. In just a few days, we received 365 responses, and FEMA was able to come and visit the county, tour around to damaged areas, damaged homes, residences. They spent 3 days straight working on that and collected information with tentative estimates of around $40 million in overall damage to the county. So there'll be more to come tomorrow we'll be a little more clear on whether or not we qualify for that individual assistance. I also wanted to mention that the coming March, board and commissions will start operating in person again. And so at the February meeting, we'll have information about where's the next in-person meeting for this board.
So they will not be hybrids, they'll be in person.
Yeah.
Only.
My understanding is that the North Fair Oaks Community Center is a likely location.
Okay.
You're not going to answer any questions anybody has on those.
Was that for the March meeting or the February meeting?
The March meeting.
March, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Adam, and welcome to the team. Council member report outs. Vice Chair Whitney, report out this evening.
Nothing to report this week.
Nothing. Council member Prado, Carlos.
Yeah, a couple of things. Well, one, just to go ahead and reinforce the importance of the second community meeting regarding the murals, February 7th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the North Fair Oaks Library at 2510 Middlefield Road. And then also something really important is coming up, and that is the Hoover Park master plan that's getting redone. The city of Redwood City, you see $4.5 million in grant to redo the Hoover Park. And even though it is in the city of Redwood City, it's literally across the street from North Fair Oaks, literally there in the between North Fair Oaks starts Spring and Bay, and so it's kitty corner. And so it's just an opportunity. It's the largest recreation, green area, open space that we have in the region, and it's really important. And just to read a little bit about it, Hoover Park, located at Woodside Road, Spring Street, Charter Street, and Hilton Street, is in need of renovation. Some amenities of the park date back to 1966, with various updates to amenities over the last 57 years. The pool facility has seen minimal use over the last decade, and a new use for the space is possible. Opportunities include a water spray feature, large playground or larger playground, picnic areas with trees, pathway, and surfaces improvements, parking improvements, and improved access to the park from Spring Street, Hilton Street, and other sports fields. So there was actually a meeting tonight, as we are conducting our own meeting. There was a meeting tonight at the Boys and Girls Club from 6 to 8 p.m. tonight, but there will be another one this Saturday, January 28th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon at Hoover Park. So there is another opportunity to go to the second meeting. And they're also taking a survey, and the survey can be done online at rwcparks.org/Hoover Park Project. So taking the survey online would be incredibly important. And if you can go in person to the meeting, that would be awesome too. But this park, again, it's a tremendous asset to the community, and we have an opportunity here, given the grant that the city has, to redo it for the benefit of North Fair Oaks, as well as Redwood City, since we border there. So I just wanted to give that information.
Thank you very much, Juan Carlos. Councilmember Rodriguez, report out tonight.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the flooding and the recent storms. So North Fair Oaks experienced flooding in the usual areas along Bay Road and Spring Road from 6th Avenue to 9th Avenue. But in addition to that's an area that usually floods, and I'm strictly right now speaking only about North Fair Oaks, because there was really bad flooding on the Redwood City side and the Friendly Acres portion of it, which is right across Bay Road. And so, but in addition to those streets that flooded, there was also flooding, really bad flooding, to the point of having to close Second Avenue at Edison Way, and also flooding on Edison Way, on 5th and 6th Avenues, which was essentially just, drains that got clogged up. Usually, those avenues don't flood, but this time there was a lot of debris, and that flooded. Of course, most of you would have heard or seen Fifth Avenue closed for the first time. I don't recall ever having Fifth Avenue closed due to the rains, but this time it was pretty bad. A few cars got stuck in there in the muddy waters, and they had to be towed away. There was also flooding on Bay Road at Woodside Road, which was creating a lot of traffic, as you would imagine. That's of course outside of North Fair Oaks, but still, impacting main roadways in North Fair Oaks. And so basically the flooding of the Fifth Avenue underpass kind of incommunicated, the two portions of North Fair Oaks from Middlefield side. You couldn't get through El Camino Real unless you went all the way around to Woodside Road or to Fair Oaks Lane, I think is the small street that communicates Middlefield Road with El Camino Real. Well, North Fair Oaks is not officially, or it doesn't have too many areas that are officially designated as areas affected by flooding. Its infrastructure can often fail, particularly when no due diligence has been done to prepare for heavy rains, and when heavy rains happen to get compounded by clogged drains and the debris that gathers. But something else that affects us, I think, is the fact that many residents, at least that's what I've heard, that don't know, where they need to call in preparation, like if there's a drain that seems to be clogged or too dirty with debris. So I would like to see if we can, through the chair, maybe have a study session to see how these things work, in preparation for events like rain, how do the residents call for county to come and clean out the drain or pick up the debris, etc. I think it would be good to visit that in sort of in preparation or as prevention, preventative measure in case we get more bomb cyclones, I guess. That's what people are calling them. So that is that in regards to flooding. The other thing separate from that is that I was looking at my water bottle, of course, from the North Fair Oaks Community Council, and I was thinking that maybe county still has extra bottles for the new members who just joined, or even the old ones, if they didn't get a bottle or something of water. I don't know, just I thought I'd mention that because they're pretty handy. I use mine all the time.
I'll check that out with them. That's a terrific idea.
Thank you.
Councilmember Ruiz, Jennifer, anything tonight? Councilmember Searcy, do you have a report out tonight, Niket?
Yeah, two things. One is, I think you and I had talked about this, but I would be interested in talking to the county about the updated tree plan and environmental plans. I believe they were supposed to come out sometime mid last year, and I've heard they're still working on it. So would like to know where they are and, what may be the holdup on that one. See what's there and going on. The other issue I wanted to talk quickly about is a couple of the residents here and neighbors have been talking to me. There seems to be an uptick in fireworks. They seem to be going off at a lot of times and places, and just wondering what can be done or what is being done about fireworks. Especially, right now we're fine because of all the rains, but as we head into the spring and summer season, if it still continues, what all dangers that they can pose, and then just the general, whether it's a nuisance or not, and stuff like that. So those were kind of my 2 points for this evening.
I can offer just brief updates on both of those things. I actually reached out to Steve Monowitz of planning with regard to the tree ordinance at your suggestion. They have a contractor working on that who's going to be looking for input. Yeah, a subset of the council to provide input on that. I suggested your name as one of the people to be involved in that. So that is in fact moving along.
Great.
With regard to fireworks, I don't have details on it, but in Supervisor Slocum's last update, I believe he mentioned that a stronger firework ordinance was being considered. I think it was last updated about a year and a half ago, which seemed to have some reduction in the amount of fireworks that went off. It held property owners liable for any damage that was caused by fireworks. Also for the cost of emergency teams to come out and solve problems related to fireworks. But I'll follow up on that and see what he meant by that. Again, it was just mentioned in his update. It's something that's on the docket for this
Great.
year.
Thank you.
Councilmember Daley, Kathleen, do you have a report out tonight?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Okay, I have a brief one. Wanted to offer congratulations to fellow council members Prado, Rodriguez, and Whitney for their reappointment to the North Fair Oaks Community Council by the Board of Supervisors at their meeting on January 17th for terms that expire December 31st, 2005. So congratulations. Look forward to working with you all for several more years. And with that said, we still have vacancies for council members and youth members on the council. If anyone in attendance has an interest in serving on the council or knows of someone who would be interested, please direct them to the website for vacancies on council boards, commissions, and committees. This can be found at www.smc.org/BNC/vacancies. That's www.smc.gov.org/BNC/vacancies. So to wrap up, thank you very much to all of our presenters tonight, as well as members of the public who attended and participated in the meeting. As always, thanks to our county staff, Emma, Kenny, Deanna, Josh, Tim, Adam, and Victor. Our next meeting is a regular session on February 23rd, 2023 from 7 to 9. It'll be held in the same location as tonight. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Stand adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.